build up in Nigeria, attacks on facilities of the Independent National Electoral Commission, Inec, are gradually becoming a feature in our polity. In yet another attack, Hoodlums burnt Inec headquarters in Owerri, Imo State. Confirming the incident, the public relations officer of the commission in the state, Chineye Chijioke Osuji, said the building housing the election and political party monitoring liaison was attacked, as well as part of the main building. Well, let's bring you that report now.
In April 2021, the headquarters of the Nigerian Police Force and the Correctional Service were attacked by unknown gunmen unchallenged. But the attack on the headquarters of Inec early hours of Monday came with a different story, as 3 of the attackers were gunned down, 2 captured alive, and different ammunition recovered.
The election must go on.
This show of bravery elated Governor Hope Uzodinma, who commended the security agents during an on-the-spot assessment at the Inec office.
Some people who think that they can win election, yes, they don't want elections. How would they then win? Inec does not need this distraction at this point and stage of our elections. Inec should be supported by all and sundry.
Parading the corpses of the neutralized hoodlums, the Imo State Commissioner of Police issued a stern warning that his men are combat ready to decimate the remnants of the hoodlums.
Our men at Inec office now engaged them too, but there were so many. So some of them were now throwing dynamite and petrol bomb into Inec building. So that was why it caught fire. But because of the firing of my men, they were not able to go with one of their vehicles. So they left the Lexus Jeep there. So from there, they were now trying to escape. They don't know about our own strategy too. So they now gave them a whole chase. So we were able to neutralize 3, recover 3 AK, and recover 3 pump actions.
They got damaged. Then the media house was also attacked. Then our council office was attacked. Then some of our vehicles, you can see the 2 of them here, burnt down, burnt. Then some of them, the glasses broken, the windscreen broken.
Okay, any PVCs taken, any?
We don't actually keep our PVCs, so I don't know.
Political pundits say continuous touch on Inec facilities by hoodlums across the country may pose serious challenge on the umpire to conduct free, fair and credible elections that will be generally accepted. Prince Oba, TVC News, Owerri.
It's a sad reality, but that's what's been happening as we build up to the elections. Another Inec facility attacked in Southeast Nigeria. It's not just limited to the Southeast for the records, but in recent times, I think the trend is happening more in the Southeast. I think a few weeks ago, we had it in Oka, and now it's happening in Owerri, the Imo State capital. Babajide, you had a catalogue of all these events at the last time we discussed this. I would hope we didn't discuss it again prior to the elections, but here we are again.
Last Monday.
This is a worrisome trend, and even the governor of the state is beginning to wonder what do these people hope to achieve with this assault on the electoral umpire?
No, they've targeted Imo State more than any other state. In the last 12 days, 3 attacks in that state alone. And before now, they were clearly ahead of others in terms of the number of attacks on INEC offices. The people carrying out the attacks are the ones who know what they are looking for. But I know that there are some people who do not want the election to hold. And they are not limited to the Southeast alone. There are some powerful politicians who don't want the election to hold. Maybe because they think that their candidate is not likely to win. We've been in this situation before where politicians, when they lose election, they go to invite the military to come and take over. There's hardly any military incursion into our politics that politicians didn't have a hand in.
They instigate.
In fact, you could say that during the Second Republic, we had both the military wing of the MPN and the military wing of the PDP, of the UPN. So you see them calling for coup, making all kinds of noise just because their own candidate did not win, and they follow that up by offering incentives to even the military. You heard what the CDS said the other day, that soldiers or the armed forces are coming under pressure from politicians, but that they are not going to
bow to the president.
yes, they are not going to compromise on their role, which is to remain apolitical, to remain neutral in the scheme of things. So, if, as I said last week, it's easy to say, oh, this whole thing is limited to the Southeast. Oh, this whole thing is because IPOB does not want election except a referendum takes place. And you all know, or we all know, that at least there is no provision for a referendum in the Nigerian Constitution. So where the matter of referendum came from, I wish I understand. But there are anti-democratic forces outside of the Southeast that this agenda sits well with them. This agenda fits into their own inordinate desire to see that the democratic process is truncated so that the military can then be invited to take power. But they need to be careful. You can't plunge a country into chaos, into bloodshed, into violent combustions, because you can see clearly that your favored candidate will not win the election. It is not about you, it is about the people. It's about the people. The people will decide who becomes the president of our country.
Well, let's look at those images coming from the headquarters of Imo. In fact, some personal vehicles of the staff were also affected in the attack. So a lot of personal losses here. GKB, I mean, this trend has been happening for a while. Political parties or individuals have come out to condemn it. But let's talk about the security agencies. How much of an arrest are they making to ensure that this thing is being nipped in the bud? It appears that even the security agencies are helpless in addressing these issues. We haven't seen any kind of arrest or prosecution or perhaps a convict made from this attack.
Well, I'm sure you can see from the clip that they got some of them arrested. And they were dragged down, and you can see them. That to me is a breakthrough, because all over the world, when there is hit and run, terrorist attacks, and you don't get anybody, then you are walking in the dark. But with these people, no matter how low level they are, they can provide intelligence. And I'm sure that this will lead to answering Gide's question on why. Because a lot of low-level terrorists, they just be doing it for some altruistic reasons. They don't know the real strategy going up at the top. They maybe you just be fighting for, like you said, referendum or freedom. It's those at the top who know the bigger picture or what they want to achieve by ensuring that facilities of the empire are destroyed before the election. So I think it's a good start, because the last time they got away, nobody was arrested. But this time, I think 2 or 3 people were arrested. I'm sure they will provide, no matter how minimal the intelligence is, to be a start. Because you can isolate them, know where they are coming from, know those they move with, and you can now see whether it's just one cell or part of a larger group. But like we know, people are still going to keep trying this to stop the elections, even till the day of the election. It's the job of the security personnel to make sure Nigerians are safe and confident enough to come out and then decide they are correct. Because a lot of people who you and I will think are Democrats, the way they talk nowadays, based on the fact that they know the candidate they are supporting is not likely to win, it gives room for fear. Because people you think are Democrats will now be telling you that Nigerians are some abusive words. Because, and I keep telling them, democracy is about the majority. You can have your say, but the majority will always have their way.
All right, Jide,
Except to rig the election.
Except to rig the we spoke about the impact of this on the elections, on the long run. But on the short term, do you think perhaps this would heighten the tension in the build-up to the elections? We know that as the days get closer, people become more agitated.
Certainly, you don't even need to end the question. If they can be this daring, if they can be this destructive in the days leading to the election, what would then happen on election day? What will happen on election day? So people will be scared, especially in the southeast where there is so much lawlessness. Today, some people get up to say, no, sit in your homes. And those who try to dare them get slaughtered. So people will ask themselves whether it makes sense to go and risk their lives casting their ballots when they are not sure they will return home in one piece. So many people would think twice about voting in these elections, especially in the southeast. And that will reduce the vote tally from that end. It certainly will reduce the vote tally. You are likely to see a huge turnout in areas where people are guaranteed of their safety. If people are not guaranteed of their safety, they'll tell their children to stay at home. Adults too will stay at home. Look at Osita Iheme. Look at his brother that was slaughtered because of a sit-at-home order. Cultists are giving directives that people should sit at home when even IPOB that instituted it in the first place has told us, look, sit at home will only be on days that Nnamdi Kanu is brought to court. Yeah. But every Monday now, people can't go to work.
Have now turned into a tradition.
Yes, other people, you know, somebody was suggesting that there could be more than even 20 groups.
Yeah, everybody with their territory.
You know, now, enforcing this thing. So you don't know who to obey. If a man powerful gives instruction, and a man powerful is far away outside our country, and some people within Nigeria give a contrary opinion, you then ask yourself, who do you believe? And if you take that risk, it could cost you your life. Because even on those days, you don't see policemen around. They too will observe the sit-at-home
for their own.
So who will come to your rescue?
Well, it's a worrisome trend. But GKB, just before we go on a quick break, just your thoughts. Do you think perhaps this could force a shift in the election date for Inec? Because it's a lot of attack. Most of their facilities, major ones, have been attacked. Would this give Inec a reason to at least shift the election date back a little to accommodate time for to make up for all these losses?
I don't think so. Just last week, Inec came out and reaffirmed their commitment to holding the elections. Sometimes the very fact that the umpire is willing to risk life and limb gives confidence to some people that it will still hold. And I will not be a naysayer and tell you here that it will not hold. What I pray for is that the Nigerian military and the Nigerian police will give enough manpower to cover the elections so that people can come out. Because we've been doing this for 23 years. This is not the time to chicken out.
Okay.